A couple weeks back, up in Salem, Connecticut, a crew was replacing a municipal water main. Residential street, deep open trench, not one of my sites, obviously. One of the guys watched the sides of the trench start to slough off, little cascades of soil coming off of both walls. This is the exact warning that every trenching class on the planet tells you is a warning. He said nothing. And according to the report, he claimed that the foreman was already hot about the schedule. And I'm guessing the kid did the math in his head. Getting chewed out felt worse than the odds on those walls. Unfortunately, the trench took the next man in. He lived. The report said, quote, soil failure. It wasn't soil failure. It was a 22-year-old who looked at his foreman and decided silence was the safer bet.
God, yeah, that tracks.
That's the whole show. I'm Jeffrey Reynolds. This is Bridging the Gap, where corporate safety office meets the front lines and neither side has the full picture. Cards on the table, here's where I stand. I think leading with emotional intelligence is the realest thing we've got in safety, and I'm tired of watching people wave it off as soft. So I brought in somebody who actually studies it to hand me the receipts. Maya, introduce yourself. And, fair warning, I'm going to argue the other side on purpose tonight because every objection I throw at you is one you're going to hear from a real person someday.
Hi, yeah, I'm Maya. I'm a second-year master's student over at Old Dominion, Social and Organizational Psych, and my thesis is basically, emotional intelligence and how it actually moves other people's behavior, like not how it makes you feel, but what it makes other people do, which I realize sounds kind of sinister out loud. I promise it's not.
Influence.
Influence, yeah, that's the cleaner word for it.
So, make the case. And pitch it to me like I'm a site manager who thinks this is all feelings nonsense, because that's the room I'm usually standing in.
Okay, so, Didio, here's the distinction I keep coming back to, right? There's compliance, which is I do the thing because you're standing there and there's a consequence if I don't. And then there's influence, which is I do the thing when you're nowhere around. And those are like completely different mechanisms. Authority is really, really good at the first one and kind of terrible at the second.
Okay. Objection 1, and I get this one thrown at me more times than I can count. Authority is not trying to be your friend. It's trying to keep you alive at 6 a.m.
No, totally, and that's fair. But think about what safety actually is, right? It's mostly the stuff that happens when the boss isn't looking. You cannot stand over every hazard on a site. So if your whole system only works when somebody's watching, you've got coverage on, maybe 2% of the real risk?
Yeah, that's the part you've got right. The radio goes quiet, and I don't know if it's quiet because it's safe or quiet because nobody trusts me with the bad news.
Right? And those two feel identical on a dashboard. That's the scary part, honestly. And isn't there an actual standard for the trench thing? The 1026? No, sorry, 1926. The subpart P? Am I even saying that right?
1926, subpart P. Excavations, you did your homework.
I crammed for you specifically, I'm not gonna lie.
Devil's advocate again, and this is when I hear the most. Bring it to a real site. It's raining, the crew's a day behind, and the foreman's been doing it the same way for 20 years and hasn't buried anyone yet. Where does your emotional intelligence go right then and there?
Honestly, in that exact second, probably nowhere. If the wall's coming down, you don't process feelings, you grab the guy. I'm not arguing you hold a feeling circle while something's falling.
Good, because that's the job sometimes. Stop the line. 3 words, no debate.
Yeah, and stop the line is authority, 100%. But Okay, can I push on that?
That's why you're here.
So who tells you the wall's about to come down in the first place? Like, the stop the line moment only happens if somebody upstream felt safe enough to say, hey, that doesn't look right, an hour earlier. The authority handles the emergency. The influence is what surfaces the emergency while it's still small. You need both. They don't run at the same time.
Say that again.
They don't run at the same time. The trust is the slow upstream thing that gets you the information. The authority is the fast downstream thing that acts on it. People argue about which one's correct, and it's a clock thing, not a values thing.
A clock thing. The closer the hazard, the more it's mine to call. The further out, the more it's yours to surface.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's exactly the thesis, and you just said it in like 9 words.
I've had longer to think about it than you have.
Okay, can I give you the place this actually got proven? Because it's not even my field, it's kind of yours. Aviation.
I think I know where this is going. Crew resource management.
Yeah, so 1978, United 173. The plane's circling Portland, there's a landing gear problem, and the whole crew is just like fixated on it. And the flight engineer apparently knew they were getting low on fuel, and he raised it softly, because back then you did not just contradict the captain. The gradient was too steep.
They flew a working airplane out of gas.
They flew a perfectly fine airplane into the ground because nobody felt like they could say the loud thing to the guy in charge. And the fix? CRM? It wasn't, Captain, stop being in charge. It was, build a cockpit where the lowest ranking person can say, we're in trouble, and the captain actually hears it. That's emotional intelligence operationalized. That's not a vibe.
That one I buy. Because it kept the authority and fixed the silence. Captain still lands the plane.
Exactly. Nobody's taking the plane from the captain. You're just making it survivable to speak up. And it's the same on a sorry, what do you guys call it? The spoil pile? The dirt you pull out of the trench? I've genuinely only ever read the word. I don't think I've ever said it out loud.
Spoil pile. You said it right.
Okay, good. Because in my head, it's just like rotten leftovers. But this is the gap, right? This is literally the gap the show's named after. I've got the whole framework, and I have never stood in the rain at 6 in the morning.
And I've stood in the rain at 6 in the morning and never read your framework. That's why this works. Let me give you the moment I hate most. Post-incident interview. Somebody got hurt, and I'm in the room trying to find out what actually happened. And every instinct that crew has is to protect themselves and each other. How do I get the truth out of that room?
Ugh, that room is the hardest one. Because the second it feels like you're handing out blame, everybody's memory gets real foggy real fast. And it's not even lying, it's the brain literally edits under threat. So the only thing that works is if you've already built the thing where what happened is a genuinely different question than whose fault is it. And you can't build that in the interview. You had to build it like 6 months ago.
Blameless. I've heard the word, and here's the pushback I always get on it. Sounds like nobody's accountable.
No, see, that's the misread that kills it. Blameless isn't consequence-free. The deal is, you tell me the truth and we fix the system. And the fastest way to get fired is to hide it. Accountability for the cover-up, not for the honest mistake. Aviation does this, hospitals are trying. You separate the learning from the punishment, or you get neither.
So if I want honest incident data, I had to earn it before the incident.
Always. The reporting culture you have on your worst day is the one you built on 100 boring Tuesdays. You can't crisis your way into trust.
Near misses. I want those reported. Nothing happened, but it almost did. That's free data, and nobody turns it in.
Because what do they get for it, right? In a pure authority system, reporting a near miss is it's volunteering for a hassle, maybe a lecture. There's no upside. The places that get near miss reporting way up, They made it cost almost nothing to report, and they actually closed the loop. People will tell you everything if they see something change. They'll tell you nothing if it goes into a void.
Close the loop. They report, they see it fix, they report more.
It's a feedback thing. Behavior that gets reinforced repeats. That's like the oldest law we've got. You want more reporting? Make reporting actually work for the person doing it.
Try this one on. I've got a 30-year guy, knows more than me, cuts a corner on a lockout tagout because in 30 years, the thing's never been live when he opened it. How does influence move him? He doesn't respect solved.
Okay, that guy is not going to be moved by a poster or a feelings conversation, you're right. But he might be moved by being asked, like genuinely. Hey, you've got 30 years. Walk me through why you do it that way. Because here's the thing, people protect the standards they helped author. Autonomy is, it's one of the strongest drivers we've got in the whole literature. You don't tell the 30-year guy. You recruit him.
Recruit him. Make it his.
Make it his. The deviation usually isn't a knowledge problem, right? He knows the rule. It's a, this rule got handed to me by somebody who's never done my job problem. That's an influence problem, not an authority problem. You cannot out-authority a guy who's already decided you don't get it.
No, you can't. I've tried. You write them up, and now you've made an enemy who teaches the young guys that the safety office is the enemy.
And then your reporting just dies. Quietly. And your numbers look great, by the way, right up until they don't.
The quiet radio.
The quiet radio. A scared crew gives you clean paperwork and a quiet radio, and you feel like a genius. Right up until somebody gets hurt, and you find out everybody saw it coming.
Flip side, green crew, 20 kids, first season. They don't know what they don't know. You telling me I lead those with curiosity and trust?
No, that's where authority is actually the kind move. Like, clarity is kindness when somebody has no map yet. You don't hand a brand new 19-year-old a bunch of open-ended, how do you feel about this hazard? They need the rule, flat, clear, repeated. The trust stuff comes after they've got a floor to stand on.
So it's developmental. New gets direction, seasoned gets recruited.
Yeah, and honestly, mixing those two up is where most leaders blow it. They go soft on the rookies who needed structure, and they go hard on the veterans who needed respect. And both groups end up exactly wrong.
That's gotta be the sharpest thing anybody said on the show.
Okay, I'm putting that on the thesis defense slide. That's going in.
Throw contractors in. Not mine, different company, on my site a week, don't know my rules, no relationship, and statistically, they're the ones who get hurt. No time to build trust there.
Yeah, okay, that's the hardest case for my whole argument. I'll just own it. When there's no time and no relationship, you lean way harder on the authority and the clarity because that's all you've got. But even there, the orientation you give them in that first hour, that sets whether they'll flag something or just keep their head down for a week. You can build a tiny bit of, we actually want to hear from you, even in an hour. It's not nothing.
An hour of we want the truth beats a binder they didn't read.
So much better than the binder. Nobody has ever once been made safe by a binder.
All right, Cynic's last card. And honestly, it's the one that almost gets me. Emotional intelligence is fakeable. I've watched managers run the active listening playbook, the nodding, the mirroring, the what I'm hearing is, and it's a tactic. The crew smells it right away. How's that different from lying?
It's honestly not different. If it's a tactic, it's manipulation, and people are unbelievably good at detecting it. Like the prefrontal stuff we use to read sincerity, it's old and it's sharp. faked empathy actually reads as a threat. So the honest answer is the skill does not work as a costume. You either actually want to know what the guy thinks or you don't. And the crew knows which one you are way before you do.
So it's not a technique. It's a disposition you can't really fake at scale.
Right. You can fake it for a meeting. You cannot fake it for a season.
All right, land it. If it's a clock, what do I actually do Monday?
Okay, the way I'd put it, emotional intelligence is the operating system. It's running in the background all the time. It's how you get information to flow toward you instead of away. And authority is a tool you pull out when the clock's short. Seconds matter. You're the authority. No apologies. Minutes, days, weeks, you're an influencer. You're building the thing where people actually tell you stuff. And the leaders who are genuinely good, they can feel which clock they're on without even thinking about it. Range. It's not picking a side. It's knowing which register the moment is asking for.
See, this is exactly what I came for. I believed this for years. I just never had the language to defend it to the skeptics. Now I do. It was never authority versus feelings. It's the clock.
It's the clock. And the binary itself is kind of the trap, right? The second you think you have to choose, you've already lost half your toolkit.
The authority trap. People think the choice is be hard or be soft, and the real answer is be the right one for the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, you should call the episode that.
Maybe I will. One last thing. What do you tell the version of you that's about to walk into her first real site and find out the framework doesn't fit in her hand the way it does on paper?
Probably shut up and watch first. The people doing the work have already solved most of this. They just don't use my words for it. So go find the foreman that everybody actually tells the truth to and just study him. He's running my entire thesis and he's never read a page of it. What about you? What do you tell young you?
Stop confusing quiet with safe. The quietest crew I ever ran was the one I should have been the most scared of. I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, you can't stand over every hazard. The whole game is what people do when nobody's watching. And you don't get that with fear. You earn it.
Earn the quiet. Don't enforce it. Well, I'm Jeffrey Reynolds. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.